Today we'll be reacting to On Sea Entertainment 10 Horror Stories Animated compilation of September 2025. So these are fresh, you feel me? Let's get it.
My name is Anushka. This is a true story that happened when I was just 10 years old. Every summer, my family and I go on a beach vacation with my father's friend's family. We usually visit Puri, a place filled with beautiful temples and golden beaches. It's a tradition, and we
Mother. Damn.
love it. Normally, we've stayed at well-known hotels, but that summer, we hadn't booked in advance. There were no rooms available. The staff told us one would open the next morning, so for one night, we had no choice but to stay at a smaller, lesser-known hotel. That hotel sat near a graveyard, far from the temples, far from the beach. But we decided it was just one night, so we would be fine. The day itself was wonderful. We played on the sand, watched the waves, and came back tired, ready for bed. And we all went to sleep early, but around 1 a.m., I woke up with a feeling I'll never forget. I couldn't breathe. When I tried to move, I couldn't. It felt like something heavy was pressing down on me, choking me. And in that moment, I knew it wasn't human. The room was pitch black, but in the shadows, I could make out a dark shape. I was only 10, and I screamed for my mother. For minutes, I couldn't breathe properly. My mother rushed to me, lifted me in her arms, and shook me awake. My father carried me out into the hallway. The hallway had no lights, only an empty, lonely sofa. No staff at the desk, just a large glass door glowing faintly with moonlight. Outside, dogs barked and yelped. Their cries echoed through the night, making the scene even more terrifying. My father laid me on the sofa, trying to wake me. He patted my cheek until I gasped and finally caught my breath. As I looked down the hallway, I saw it, a figure standing in the corner watching me.
Hell no.
It was tall. Its hair floated in the air as if caught in a breeze. I thought it was a woman, but I knew it wasn't human. Its presence radiated anger. I was frozen. We went back to our room. I said nothing, not a word. The next morning, we checked out and went to a famous hotel. There, everything was normal. The rest of our vacation was perfect. But when we finally returned home, I told my parents what I saw. And that's when my heart stopped, because my mother admitted she had seen the figure too, that very night, standing in the same corner, staring, silent. She never told me at the time, and I never saw it again. But from that day forward, I was never the same.
Thank God.
The fear of the dark stayed with me. I couldn't walk into unlit rooms, couldn't face dark hallways in hotels, especially hotels near cemeteries.
True Aunt's House Horror Story.
Hello, my name is Rumaiza. I've always wanted to share this story. This happened when I was about 11. It was a school holiday, and my siblings and I went to stay overnight at my aunt's house. We had so much fun, and when it was time for bed, the three of us slept on a mattress in the living room with my cousin. To give you a better picture, this is what the layout of my house looked like. And when it was time for bed, the three of us slept on a mattress in the living room with my cousin. To give you a better picture, this is what the layout of
Okay. Aunt's room is right here. No, kitchen is where my face cam's at. Sofa. Me, this is probably where everyone's chilling. TV, cousin's room, table, wall. Good. Alright, we got all that?
my house looked like. That night, I couldn't sleep because of a sore throat and a cough, so I stayed up watching YouTube on my cousin's tablet. It must have been around 3 a.m. I wanted to sleep, but the coughing just wouldn't stop. Finally, I turned off the tablet, determined to get some rest. Just then, I heard my cousin's bedroom door open.
Woo! Ah! Sorry, y'all. I had to reset this real quick.
From where I was laying, I could clearly see if anyone came out, but no one did. And I never heard the door close again. I called out my cousin's name. No answer.
Bro, that scared me. It got unmuted.
Goosebumps spread across my skin, but I tried to ignore it. On the table in front of the door was a plastic bag. Suddenly, the bag's handle began to move. Startled, I called out my cousin's name again. The bag stopped. It wasn't the wind. First, the bag was full of something. And second, the movement wasn't in one direction. It was shifting, almost tugging. And with all the windows shut tight, there was no wind inside at all. Frightened, I turned to face my sister and closed my eyes, but I couldn't shake off the fear. I opened them again and glanced at the black screen.
Y'all see that? Oh, hell
The
no.
now off TV.
Staring at
That's
you.
when I saw him. A man in a hoodie standing behind me, or at least in the reflection. His stance suggested he was right there, looming over top of me. He looked like my cousin, but it was only reflection, and something inside me knew the truth. I turned around to check. No one was there. When I looked back at the TV, the figure had returned, only this time even closer. A wave of dread washed over me. I couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't do anything except cry quietly to myself. The figure was coming closer and closer. I whispered a prayer, clutching my sister, and eventually it vanished. I squeezed my eyes shut until sleep nearly took me, but the feeling of being watched never left. When I dared to open my eyes again, he was there, sitting on the sofa behind me, one leg crossed over the other, elbow resting lazily on the armrest, staring as if he had always been there, as if he belonged there. And behind him stood another figure, tall, pale.
Yo! Nah, hold on. Let me try my playing bowl. Oh, hell no. Y'all gonna sit here and look at this guy. Y'all got that. Y'all got that. Ooh. Ooh. Let's continue this.
Only his upper body visible. I couldn't take it anymore. I forced myself to get up, bolted into my aunt's room, and shook her awake. I told her everything. She didn't believe a word. She just gave me cough medicine and let me sleep beside her. Only then did I finally fall asleep. The next morning, I told my siblings and my cousin. None of them believed me either, but I know what I saw.
Of course.
The figure in the TV might have been my imagination. But how do I explain the moving plastic bag? And the thought of that being sitting casually on the sofa, watching me like I was the intruder, still gives me goosebumps.
The true abandoned hotel horror story.
At the time, I lived in an old block of flats in England, and right next to my home stood an abandoned hotel, a massive 6-story building that had been rotting away for years, even before I moved in. One day, me, my cousin, and my sister decided we'd finally explore it. The hotel was surrounded by a tall fence, but it was crumbling, full of holes. It wasn't hard to slip through. Inside, the place was worse than we imagined.
As long as you're not trespassing.
Blood smeared across doors, broken windows, empty rooms torn apart by squatters.
Listen, if y'all are ever going to go to an abandoned place, oh my goodness, everyone's just being so loud tonight. If you're going to go to an abandoned building, first off, make sure you're not trespassing, so that way if the cops do come, they can't get you. You can't get caught lacking. And second off, have a blick with you. There could be a dangerous homeless person in there. You feel me? Like as soon as I see a homeless man chasing, boom, 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 boom. Officer, I was scared for my life. He was chasing after us with a knife. And if they still put you in prison for that, I don't know. Just pray your booty doesn't get taken. That's all I got to say.
The air was heavy, suffocating, like the walls themselves were warning us to leave. Behind the hotel, we found a dead
Are the dogs going now? Okay, good. It was getting a little hot in here.
patch of grass and an old, run-down shed. We didn't get too close. Just standing near it made our skin crawl.
Smart.
We heard it, the sharp scrape of metal against metal, like someone...
Hey, get that strap ready. Where is it? Right here. Now's not the time to be sneaking up on me.
Sharpening a knife. We didn't wait to find out. We turned back toward the hotel, but as soon as we opened the back door, a foul stench hit us. Rot, decay, something like a dead body.
Oh yeah, there's a dead body.
Still, we pressed on. We climbed the stairs to the first floor.
At that point, I would have left.
Made the worst decision of the day. We split up. I crept into...
Why would y'all do that? You hear metal noises, smell of rotten flesh, and you still decided to split up. What are we doing? How more stupider that this is? Why is it every single day there's a top 5 wordy stupid moment of the? It's like ever since I reacted to that one video, and I said that it's gotta be the stupidest thing the whole time. I was like, oh, you think that's stupid? Bam, let me show you some more. Bam, bam, bam. It's been like that ever since that. Damn.
To a room filled with old shelves, books, broken furniture. In the corner stood a massive, worn-down closet. At first, it seemed ordinary, but then, tap, tap, tap. The sound was faint.
Hey, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to get out that door and reveal yourself before I put a bullet in there.
But steady, like long nails drumming up against the inside of wood.
You got 5 seconds.
My heart stopped when I realized it was coming from inside the closet. I bolted out of the room, down the hallway, through the stairwell. My cousin and sister saw me and immediately followed. In the rush, I tripped hard.
This gotta be fake.
Scraping my leg open, but I didn't dare stop. As we reached the exit, I made the mistake of looking back. And there she was, a woman, mid-20s.
I don't think that's a mistake. You gotta watch out behind you. You gotta make sure no homeless person is chasing after you. Or else you'll hit him with that 360. Boom, 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 boom.
20s maybe. Long, greasy black hair. Ripped, filthy clothes. She was standing just inside the doorway of the hotel, peeking at us from the shadows. That's when I knew we weren't alone in there. When we finally got home, I noticed my leg was bleeding badly from the fall. But the cut wasn't random. It had carved itself into the shape of a
I'm just
smiley
annoyed,
face.
bro.
I didn't believe in ghosts before that
This
day.
is crazy.
But after
And
what I
yet-
saw,
yet now you
after
do.
what followed me home, I knew better. The hotel was torn down years later, replaced with new apartments. But
No,
for
that's
me,
still hard.
that night never left.
The bedroom window.
Hey, my name is Kav. This happened to me about 4 years ago, and it still has me questioning the whole situation. One hot summer in the United Kingdom, I was going about my day until my mother, little sister, and I went over to my grandparents' house. We stayed there until it got dark. As we parked the car in front of our house, we all got out, shut the doors, and locked it. While walking to the door, I looked up at my bedroom window. That's when I saw it, a black silhouette, slightly slouched behind the curtain, just visible enough to notice. I had another sister who was home at the time, so I thought it was her trying to scare me. I called out to her, but the
Yeah,
figure
it's not your
didn't
sister.
move. I shrugged it off, thinking I'd laugh with her about it upstairs later. But when we walked inside, my heart dropped. She was sitting on the couch, studying. I started to panic. I knew I had seen someone or something.
Alright, this is what you gotta do. Whoever the fuck is in my house, you need to leave before I put a bullet in your head. Type shit.
Staring down at me from my window. It couldn't have been my brother. He was asleep for work in the morning. Hesitantly, I walked upstairs and turned on the bedroom light. The room was perfectly normal, nothing out of place. I broke down crying to my mother about it, and she let me sleep in her room that night. Weeks later, I was finally back in my room. That's when something else began. My sister and I noticed a rotting smell in our bedroom. At first, only our mother picked up on it. She questioned us, but we were always clean. Still, the smell grew worse, and soon my brother and mother were noticing it too. She asked my stepdad to break open a shelf, thinking a rat might have died inside, but there was nothing, and the stench only got stronger in the heat of the day, then faded
That's a
at
dead
night.
body.
Eventually, I moved
Faded
out
at
of my
night.
room and started sleeping on the floor in my mother's room. My sister stayed behind. The smell drove my mother crazy. She finally called the council, who sent investigators. Nothing. Days later, she called again. This time, the police came. We lived in an apartment. The officers began knocking on doors upstairs, questioning neighbors, until they reached one unit. The door was locked, or at least it should have been. When they tried forcing it open, it felt heavy. Finally, they pried it open, and that's when they found her. Behind the door lay the body of an elderly woman. One of the cops rushed outside to throw up. She had been dead for days. Later, my
And
mother
no
sat
one
my
c-
sister
no
and
one
me down.
said nothing?
She told us quietly, "Girls, that smell you've been inhaling was a corpse." We were in utter shock. My sister asked if they knew how she died. My mother said, "They're not sure. She was found behind her front door, so maybe a stroke, maybe a heart attack." The saddest part, they discovered she had no family. She lived alone, and she died alone.
Oh. Yo, that's one of my worst fears, bro. I don't want to die alone with the gang, bro. I don't want to die alone. Yo, it's probably another reason, main reason why I'm doing content creation. So that way people can remember me. Yeah, I don't want, when I die. I want to keep living in memories, bro. Stories. You know what I'm saying? That's probably the main reason why I'm doing this. To not feel alone. Some people are fine with not having themselves out there. Completely understandable. People got family, and I got my family too. But it's like, I don't want to be forgotten. Now, 1,000 years, that's a little different. I can understand that. But, like, as soon as I die, everyone forgets me? No, I don't want that to happen, bro. That's why I'm doing this, bro. It's probably why I'm doing this. To make people happy. No matter what people are going through, make them happy. And for me to be in people's memory. Now, don't develop a parasocial relationship. Let's not get that crazy now. But it's like, I just want people to think of me often. You know what I'm saying? And it needs to be good energy too. Not that, oh yeah, R.I.P. Bozo, he was terrible. Just like a good, genuine person. You feel me? Sorry about that.
To this day, I still wonder if the silhouette I saw in my bedroom window was her. Maybe she was reaching out. Maybe she's still in that room with me.
The handsome guy.
My family has...
No? I'm not the handsome guy? No, I'm joking. Alright, y'all. Unfortunately... Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I already did. Alright, y'all. I got good news, bad news. The good news is... Or the bad news is... I accidentally continued some of this story without recording the screen. But the good news is... I caught it early on. So, I'll let you know when how far I got to. I'll let you know when I stopped. But yeah, some of this I will already know. But I'll let you all know when we're back to watching. Alright?
My family has had a history of horror and terrible things. I can remember all the stories that my aunts and uncles would tell me, but the earliest story I can remember was told to me by my mother. It was the late 90s. My mother was 15 years old at the time, living in Puerto Rico with her family. My mother
late
had
90s.
a friend.
Oh, Broncos
for
won a
privacy,
Super Bowl.
I'll call her Carmen. They were best friends. They always played together and had sleepovers. Carmen was a huge part of my mother's childhood. One day, when my mother and Carmen were playing outside, a man approached them. He wasn't the spooky, scary old man, or the creepy guy you'd hear about in kidnapper stories. He was tall and handsome. My mother and Carmen knew him. Everyone did. He was well known around the church and the town for his kindness and good looks.
He was supposed to be kind
and they
good
smiled
looks.
back. They knew him, so they thought they could trust him.
Hey Lydia, hey Carmen, what are you girls doing?
He asked with his usual smile. My mother and Carmen laughed and chatted with him, but then the conversation took a turn. He suddenly sighed.
What's wrong?
Carmen asked.
It's just that my fridge is broken at my house, and no one wants to help me. I've asked all my friends, but they all said no.
Carmen looked at my mother and smiled. My mom knew that smile always meant Carmen had an idea.
You know, me and Lydia could help.
Carmen said brightly. His sad face lit up.
Really? I'd appreciate that.
Despite Carmen thinking it was fine, my mother didn't. She whispered,
Carmen, we've never even been to his house. Your parents would never allow it. And besides, he's strong and big. Why would he need our help?
Carmen just rolled her eyes and chuckled.
Don't be such a scaredy cat, Lydia. He's super nice and we both know him. If you don't want to, I'll just go with him myself.
Before my mom could respond, Carmen was already walking toward the man's car. My mother froze. She wanted to call out, but she couldn't move. She just stood there,
RP's in the
watching,
chat.
as Carmen climbed into the car. The engines.
Alright. That is how far I got to YouTube. YouTube, that is as far as we got. Alright. The rest of the way is unknown. Alright.
Started. Carmen waved from the window. My mother forced a nervous smile and waved back as the car drove away.
Yeah, she
The
said.
next day, my mother was washing dishes when she heard voices in the living room. She peeked and saw Carmen's parents talking to hers. When they noticed her, they rushed over.
Lydia, dear, do you know where Carmen is?
They asked. Her parents stood beside her, waiting for an answer. My mother replied,
Yes, she went with Tulio to help him fix his fridge.
The room fell silent. Her parents looked concerned. Carmen's parents looked terrified. They thanked her, then quickly left. My mother felt uneasy. It was unlike Carmen to not come home. She always came home when the streetlights turned on. A day later, my mother was walking to
Told you
school
she's
when she
dead.
noticed a commotion near a house. Curious, she walked over and froze in horror. Carmen had been found. Her body was stuffed inside a
Yep. Yep. This is why you can't go in. You can't go by yourself to things, bro. You have to 100% trust this person. You have to, bro.
black garbage bag. Her face was twisted in terror. Her eyes rolled back. Behind the police tape, my mother saw Carmen's parents crying. After Carmen left with the man, he had taken her to his house and killed her. It was one of his neighbors who discovered the truth. Their dog had run to a garbage bag, scratching at it. When the neighbor looked closer, they saw Carmen, and they immediately called the police.
Yo, that dog is a savior. Yo, that dog prevented him from doing all this to other people, bro. That dog saved some lives that day. I'm already knowing.
Nobody could believe it. The kindest, most trusted man in their town had done the most evil thing. My mother never saw him again, but even now, she still has nightmares about him.
That's a,
I'm a young teenage girl.
Has
What's this
nightmares
next
about
one?
him.
a knock at night.
I'm a young teenage girl, and this happened recently. I can still remember the image in my head, playing over and over again. I live in an apartment complex on the 3rd floor. I don't usually get visitors, and when I do, it's just my aunties and cousins coming over. On this particular day, I was lying on my bed, watching YouTube as usual. I don't have a phone anymore since it gave me a lot of trouble, and then stopped working permanently. Anyway, after watching YouTube, I got up to greet my stepdad as he came home from work. After greeting him, I went back to my room where my brothers were on their bunk bed. I shared a room with them, so I never had privacy of my own. As I was looking around, my brother suddenly said
when I was younger, I used to... Me and my brother shared the same room, but as we got older, my parents realized my sister needed her own private space to get ready, or else it would be chaos. They gave her a room downstairs, just had a bathroom down there, and they gave that room to my brother, and I kept this room. So almost my whole life, I've been in this room.
I heard knocking on the door. It was dark out, and I didn't believe him at first. Since I hadn't heard it, I shrugged it off. But then, I heard the knock. My brother got up, but I told him to sit back down on the bed. I'm the oldest, and I didn't want my younger brothers opening doors for strangers. I walked up to the door. There was a chair right next to it. For some reason, I didn't want the person knocking to know anyone was home. So I didn't move the chair in front of the door to look through the peephole. Instead, I climbed onto the chair, leaning close, almost falling as I tilted my body to look. And that's when the fear hit me. I won't forget what I saw through the peephole. It was a masked man.
Hold on, someone's calling for me. Sorry, y'all. I had to use the restroom. Once again, left my seat again. Jesus Christ. I feel like this whole stream, I've been out of the chair more times than I've been sitting and watching, bro. Oh, yeah. This guy.
Man, wearing a blue raincoat, almost like some kind of government worker. He was standing slightly slanted to the side.
Yeah. Now, please don't open the door. Come on, Otis. Survival instincts. Please tell me you have survival instincts.
But what terrified me most was the gun.
Yep.
He held it right up to the...
Oh, shit. Don't tell me he sees her through the peephole. Hey, y'all know what that means, right? But this time I'm not going to announce it. I'm going to put it at the door, especially if it's wood. Duck, hit it like here. You go like this. Door's right here. This is the wall. Pew, 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 pew.
peephole, almost as if he wanted whoever was looking to see it. Heart racing, I slowly stepped down from the chair. I slipped off my slides so they wouldn't make a sound. I turned to my brothers and gestured with my hand, shaping a gun, warning them to be silent.
Nice.
I quickly shut off all the lights and ran into my...
That's a mistake. That's a mistake, because now he's going to know that you're in there. Now he knows.
Stepdad's room to tell him what I had just seen. What made it worse was that right before the man came, the electricity went out, and the internet too. That made it feel even scarier. My brothers ended up coming into my stepdad's room as well. We used the flashlight on his phone, since the ceiling light in his room didn't work.
Please tell me you have no windows.
The knocking continued. My stepdad wanted to check the peephole himself, but I wouldn't let him. I was too scared that even the slightest sound would give us away. We stayed in the room for over an hour. Eventually, it seemed like the man had left, because we heard a little boy and his parents walking into their apartment on our floor. We could also hear kids playing downstairs on the first floor. That was when I finally called my mom and asked if we could go to my aunt's house without telling her what had happened. We left in a hurry. I never saw that man again, but the thought still terrifies me. What if I had let my brother open the door?
Yep. That would be bad. Yup. Hey, clap it up for Otis Star. That's some W sibling shit right here. What's this next story? The Local Park Horror Story.
I'm currently 28 years old, but this story happened when I was just 7, and I still remember it to this day. I used to go to a local park with some friends. We had been going there for almost 2 years, but over the last 5 months we noticed something strange. Every single day, there was a short, fat, creepy...
Oh, that's a pedo. Oh, that's the EDP. He's sitting here grinning! Look! Oh, hell no. Hell no.
old guy who would sit on a nearby bench. He'd just watch us, and other kids, for hours, with this...
Get this freaky ass dude in prison!
Unsettling grin on his face. We stupidly went there without any parents or guardians, since the park was close to our house and our parents trusted us. This was back in 2003, and we were so young we didn't have phones to call for help. About 2 weeks after we started to feel uncomfortable with him watching us, he finally came over. It was just me.
Get your hot Cheeto ass fingers away! Ugh.
Me and my 3 friends in the park that day. He walked up and asked us if we wanted to go to his house to play video games.
No! No! You fucking weirdo! Hell no.
and check out his new dog.
Nah,
Since
we
we
good.
were kids, we were foolish, and we agreed.
Bro.
It sounded fun, and for a moment we thought maybe he was just a kind guy after all.
Now your booty
But we
holes
were
are gone.
very wrong. He said his house was about a 20-minute walk from the park, so the four of us walked with him. About 10 minutes into the walk, a cop car drove by and started to slow.
Oh, shit. I didn't do nothing, did I? Okay, we still good. Woo!
Slow down. The passenger cop leaned out the window, staring at us. The man told us to walk faster, saying that way we'd get more time to play games and to see his dog before having to leave. So we picked up the pace. But then the cop car suddenly
the cops
made a
aren't
U-turn,
done.
and a loud voice shouted.
You there! Freeze! Put your hands on your head! You're under arrest!
We froze, confused and scared. The
Yeah!
man bolted, but because of
W
his age
cop.
and size, he didn't get far. One cop tackled him to the ground and cuffed him,
W
while the
cops.
other officer asked us if we were okay and what had happened. We told him everything. He nodded and said it was very lucky they drove by when they did. Another cop car was called to
The
drive
booty
us
holes
home,
will not get
while
taken
the first
tonight.
car took the man to the station. The police explained everything to our parents, and from that day forward, we were banned from going to that park. At
Yeah,
the
that's
time, my
unfortunate.
parents thought I was too young to understand the details, but when I turned 13, they finally told me the truth. That man was a known sexual offender. He
Yep.
called what he did his hunting, and he did it at local parks. That revelation terrified me. I started thinking about
Yep,
what
he
could
was
have happened
almost
to
a
me
victim.
and my three
He
friends
was almost a
if
victim.
that cop car hadn't driven by and stopped him. And honestly, I don't even want the answer, because I already know what it would have been. The police didn't share many details about his punishment, but my dad told me that one officer said the man would get at least 15 years in prison for his other crimes.
True
My
beach
name is
horse story.
Dhruv Prajapati, and I am from India. I'll tell you about an experience I had on Dumas Beach that still chills me to the bone. Dumas Beach in Surat has always been a place wrapped in mystery and dark rumors.
Okay.
People say it's haunted, and over the years, countless stories have
Sign me up. Sign me up. Where is this exactly at? No, I'm just
circulated about strange sounds, vanishing shadows, and eerie figures that wander the sands.
Hey,
at
you
night.
want me to go somewhere? Just tell me it's on it. Boom. I'm getting ghost equipment and we going.
As curious as I am, I never really believed in any of it until one night changed everything. It was a rare weekend night, and some friends and I decided to hang out on Dumas Beach after sunset. We'd heard the rumors, the tales of restless spirits, unexplained disappearances, and how people seemed to disappear into the mist along the shore. But we just laughed it off, convinced it was nothing but local folklore
Strap on.
meant to keep people away after dark. As we walked along the beach, the only sounds were the waves crashing and our voices echoing strangely in the emptiness. Then, without warning, an icy gust of wind swept across the beach. It cut right through
Oh.
us, and we all felt the sudden chill. One of my friends even joked,
Maybe it's one of the ghosts.
but the laughter faded when we heard it, a whisper, faint and breathless, like someone
Yep.
was speaking just behind us. We stopped, our senses on high alert, and looked around. There was no one.
Still want to play
The beach
games,
was
buddy?
empty. I brushed it off, figuring it was just the wind, but something felt wrong. I remember hearing that the beach was once a Hindu burial ground, and that maybe, just maybe, the souls of those buried here hadn't yet found peace. As we walked further, my flashlight started flickering, and a
Oh,
thick,
GG's.
eerie mist began to roll in. It was denser than anything I'd ever seen. Just then, one of my friends gasped and pointed at the ground. There were footprints, appearing in the sand as though someone invisible was walking straight toward us. Our nerves got the better of us, and one of my friends whispered,
Let's get out of here.
I didn't need to be told twice, but something, maybe my curiosity or something else, held me back for just a moment longer. I looked down at the footprints moving closer, step by step, almost as if they had intent. And then, for just a brief second, I saw it, a shadow-like figure, its hollow.
Boom! Down. Oh, shoot. It kicked me out. Just kicked me out. I lost y'all.
Eyes staring directly at me. The look in its eyes wasn't anger, it was something else, a mix of sorrow and warning. Heart racing, I stumbled back, and my friends and I broke into a run. As we sprinted back, I could hear faint whispers following us, growing louder, and footsteps closing in behind us. When we finally reached the entrance to the beach, where the glow of the streetlights met us, we dared to turn around. The mist had already thinned, and the beach looked silent, almost peaceful, as if nothing had ever happened. To this day, I have never gone back.
Yeah,
Hi, I'm Eric.
True
For the
McDonald's
sake of
story.
the story, I'll be keeping my family's names private. So my brother
Understandable.
will be called Ken, and my cousin will be called Damien. This happened about 6 years ago. It was a cold December evening in 2019 when my family and I visited our local McDonald's. I was 12 years old at the time, my brother Ken was 10, and our cousin Damien was 14. We had all been looking forward to a simple evening of food and playtime. As we walked in, we started ordering food, but our attention was quickly pulled aside. A large, muscular man was shouting angrily at a woman,
Oh,
his
hell
voice
no.
carrying through the glass. Suddenly, I saw him grab my mom's hand. My heart jumped.
That's your mom? If you don't get your hands off my mom right now.
And I shouted at the guy to shut up. But my aunt quickly gave me a sharp look, silently telling me not to get involved. And honestly, I thank her for that, because things could have gotten much worse.
Oh,
Inside,
shit.
my aunt kept paying for the food. Ken turned to me and asked,
Man, what's going on?
I whispered back, I don't know, let's just focus on the positives. Damien looked pale, scared, and I tried to reassure him with a smile.
Don't worry. Things will get better. I promise.
We hugged each other, holding on, as the woman and the man stormed into the restaurant. That's when things completely spiraled. The woman screamed.
I told you, I don't have your money, you pig.
The man roared back,
Oh, shit.
calling her a
It's
lying
about money.
bitch. Dozens of customers froze. Parents, kids, families.
Boy,
all
if some of y'all don't get up.
staring in shock as the fight escalated. A female employee stepped forward and snapped.
Get out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, or I'm calling the police.
The atmosphere was heavy with fear. My aunt leaned toward me and whispered again to stay out of it, so we tried to eat quietly, though our hands were shaking. The playground in the corner, once exciting, suddenly meant nothing. Ken and Damien kept saying,
The cops are coming.
like it was the only thing keeping them calm, but the truth was far darker. I excused myself to check on my mom, and that's when I saw something I'll never forget. The man had calmed down. He stood talking with a friend, a rough-looking guy with his girlfriend by his side, and then I noticed it. 3 shotguns, tucked into the man's back, hidden under his jacket. My blood ran cold.
Boom, 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 boom. Hell no.
I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just forced myself to walk away, praying he hadn't seen me notice. Back at the playground, I sat in silence, my mind spinning, trying to process
that's no
what I
longer
had
a
just
play
seen.
place anymore.
Moments later, the police arrived. They questioned the woman, and they spoke to my mom. We soon left the restaurant, still shaken and talking about what happened. But it wasn't over. As we drove away, we saw flashing lights at a nearby gas station. The man and his friends were in handcuffs, being pushed against
Let's
the
go.
squad car. That's when my mom explained what really happened. The man had tried to snatch the woman's purse. When she resisted, he slapped her. She gave her statement to the police, and we drove home, grateful it was finally over. Seeing that man in cuffs gave us closure, but it also left me with a memory I'll never forget. Now, at 17,
tough.
I still look back on that night. The night a normal trip to McDonald's turned into something I'll carry with me forever.
Can't even eat Big Mac the same. That's unfortunate. True addict
My
horror
name is
story.
Chen, and I am 15 years old. This happened when I was 10. Back then, I lived in a small
This looks
town
like
in
to be the last
Manitoba,
story.
Canada. After this night, my family moved to Portage La Prairie. For some context, I loved volleyball. Even though I wasn't very good at it, I wanted to play. I remember begging my parents to register me for after-school volleyball, but I would always chicken out. Now, onto the story. It was a Sunday
Why?
night. My parents were at a gender reveal party, and my brother and I decided not to go since they said it would be boring for us. After playing with my neighbor, I went back inside and into the room I shared with my brother. I started tossing
Wait,
around.
hold on.
I went to go. Night. My parents were at a gender reveal party.
A gender reveal party boring? Oh, this is someone they don't know? How would it be boring? You can't, like... The curiosity won't get you? Curiosity won't get you? Cool, like, explosions, pop balloons, all that? No. Y'all thought that would be boring? Okay.
And my brother and I decided not to go since they said it would be boring for us. After playing with my neighbor, I went back inside and into the room I shared with my brother. I started tossing around the volleyball my parents had bought me. I was knocking things over, but luckily nothing broke, or I would have been in big trouble. I kept practicing, setting the ball into the air.
Uh-oh.
At one point, I purposely hit the attic door. It didn't even have a handle to pull it down. But being the mischievous kid I was, curiosity got the better of me. I went to the garage and asked my brother to help me carry a ladder upstairs. He didn't ask questions, just helped me. Before climbing up, I grabbed one of those sticky hand toys I had from trick-or-treating.
Oh, I remember
I climbed the
had one of
ladder,
those.
slapped the sticky hand onto the attic door, and tugged until it came down. Then I climbed into the attic. It was pitch dark. I struggled to see. All I could make out was a couch, some food scattered across the floor,
Ew.
and an old bathtub we had left up there years ago, still holding dirty water. And then I saw him, a man, late 50s, balding, teeth.
If you don't get out of this house right now, that pretty little bald skull you have will have a hole in it. Anyways,
Rotting, smelling like he hadn't showered in weeks. I froze and then let out a massive scream. As I scrambled back toward the ladder, he lunged at me. I was only 4 steps from the bottom, but I didn't wait. I jumped. I yelled at my brother to run, and without any explanation, we bolted to our neighbor's house. We banged on their door until they opened. Shaking, we told them everything. They called the police. When officers went back to search the attic, the man was gone. Our neighbor also called our parents, and they rushed home immediately. Before the police left, they asked me for a description. I gave them every detail I could, but that was it. That night was the last time I ever saw him, and I'm still recovering from it.
Oh man, that is scary. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that October Halloween spooky video. And I will see y'all later. Peace.